A day of COVID-19 myth-busting Monday as the province continues to grapple with the third wave of the pandemic and hospitalizations continue to rise. The Premier cautiously touting the province's vaccine accomplishments. Nearly 50% of the population 12 and older have received their first dose.
As I mentioned before and continue to say, vaccines are our way to get back to normal. We've seen real-world proof of this in the United Kingdom, in Israel, the United States, and other places.
But despite the good vaccine news, ICU resources are still being stretched thin, particularly in the north zone of the province, with several rural UCP MLAs speaking out against public health restrictions. Both the Premier and Chief Medical Officer laying out the numbers, saying rural areas have been disproportionately impacted by the virus.
Since the beginning of May, the north and central zones have had higher hospitalization rates per capita compared to any other region of the province. The north zone in particular has had hospitalization rates more than double those of Edmonton, Calgary, or south zones.
Alberta's top doctor also breaking down another popular misconception that only the elderly will feel the worst and possible fatal effects of COVID.
32% of those who have been admitted to the ICU since February 1st have been under the age of 50, with 7% under the age of 30.
Premier Jason Kenney also spoke about plans to reopen, saying it's too early now. The province's active case rates are much higher than neighboring provinces.
We will certainly be tying reopening, in large part, to the percentage of population that gets vaccinated. We'll also be looking at hospitalizations at least early in the reopening phase.
But the opposition NDP calling out the Premier over shutting down the legislature, saying it's not about safety, it's about quashing a caucus rebellion. The NDP have put forth paid sick day legislation, asking the UCP to open up the legislature and get it done.
We are quite willing to work on safe measures to come back, to make it even safer, so that we can get back as soon as possible. Come to work. We've got legislation ready for you. Come on down, reopen the legislature, take a look at what we're offering, put forward your own alternative if necessary, but let's get this work done.
In Edmonton, Darcy Ropjan, City News.